Wholesale marketing of nursery crops is rapidly changing as a result of many factors, especially changes in market demands, production technology, and modes of transportation. In recent years, the marketing phase has quite possibly changed more than any other aspect of nursery management. The nursery industry of the U.S. continues to expand, creating many new opportunities of profitable marketing. Because of its relatively small sizes compared with other industries, it is difficult for nursery managers to obtain good market information. Currently, the best information is obtained through various trade associations, trade journals, and from attendance at trade shows and meetings. The grower's ability to anticipate market demands is a limiting factor in the marketing of nursery products and poses one of the most significant challenges for the nursery industry of the future. I'm Dr. DeBusk, and this video discusses aspects of wholesale marketing and standards applied to trees and shrubs. Marketing as defined by Coles is the performance of all business activities from the point of initial agricultural production until they are in the hands of the ultimate consumer. The flow of nursery crops from the producer to the retailer is complex, in part because of the vast variety of nursery crops, the rapid expansion of the nursery industry, and in many cases the long distances that nursery crops are shipped from producer to consumer. Many nurseries sell their crops out of state. There are a variety of reasons for the long-distance shipments of nursery stock in the United States. A specific nursery crop may be more economically produced in one section of the country because of a more optimum climate and soil, lower land and labor costs, greater availability of technically trained employees, lower energy requirements, longer growing season, and possibly more progressive nursery management. Most production nurseries also specialize in the type of consumer they serve as well as in the nursery crops they produce, and therefore serve a broader geographic area. The same cultivar of shade tree will be grown to a different size, pruned, harvested, packaged, and labeled quite differently depending on whether the tree will be sold to a garden center or to a landscape contractor. A garden center may want a small, dormant, packaged bare root tree, whereas the landscape contractor will want a balled and burlapped or container-grown large specimen tree. Developing a successful, profitable wholesale marketing program for a nursery crop begins with an understanding of the needs and nature of the ultimate customer. A landscape firm has specific plant needs and will usually want larger plants than retail garden centers. The nursery stock will usually be balled and burlapped, boxed, or container grown, with very limited quantities purchased as bare root plants. Landscape planting can now be carried out most of the year compared to a garden center, which has a pronounced spring and fall season. A landscaper may schedule the delivery of plants to a landscape site on a specific day, or in some cases at a specific hour of the day to improve efficiency. Landscape projects may be bid months or even years before the landscape project begins. Construction projects that take years to complete must be bid before construction begins. The production nursery may need to guarantee a price 1, 2, or even 3 years before delivery in order for the landscaper to submit a bid. In contrast to landscapers, retail garden center managers are usually interested in large quantities of commonly used landscape plants for short, high-volume seasonal periods. Most sales are in the spring, with the winter being seasonal plants. Garden centers in mild climates will have more uniform sales throughout the year as a result of a longer growing season. Southern nurseries have an advantage in providing early deliveries for spring for northern garden centers. Northern nurseries utilize storage facilities to hold nursery stock. The timing of nursery stock deliveries for retail garden centers is one of the most important challenges for the production nurseries that demonstrate the ability to deliver their products consistently when requested. A rainy, cold weekend will almost stop sales, whereas a warm, sunny weekend will substantially stimulate sales. The nursery must be able to deliver stock according to advertising schedule and accelerate deliveries if it is a good weather weekend. The mail order nursery uses a sales catalog as well as other forms of advertising, such as the home shopping network or website, to sell nursery stock that will be delivered for the most part via a parcel service. Mail order catalogs are usually mailed in mid to late winter, but early fall catalogs specializing in fall planted bulbs are also common. This industry is particularly sensitive to parcel post rates and makes every effort to reduce the bulk and weight of its nursery products, packaging, and catalogs. Most mail order items are either bare root dormant plants or are grown in small containers in lightweight soil. The scheduled shipment of mail-order nursery stock is usually based on the estimated time of optimal planting weather for the particular area to which it is being shipped. The nursery's entire marketing area will be divided into zones having the same optimal planting dates. A variety of different types of nursery sales organizations and agreements with nursery salespersons can be found in the industry. Nursery brokers operate their own independent sales organizations selling on commission products from a number of production nurseries. They do not take possession or maintain plants for sales, as do horticultural distribution centers. Nurseries more frequently use a broker for out-of-state sales. These individuals will only book orders. The shipments will originate from the production nursery. The broker receives a commission on all orders personally booked and all subsequent orders sent directly to the production nursery from customers the broker originally contacted. Horticultural distribution centers, HDCs, provide one-stop shopping for landscape contractors, garden centers, municipalities, and developer property owners. An HDC is a standalone profit center within a nursery or a freestanding firm which purchases, maintains, and resells large quantities of plants and related horticultural products through warehouse and/or yard facilities. On-time delivery is their most important service, followed by sales and marketing support, close proximity, and large-size plants. HDCs provide a convenient location for landscape contractors to pick up all of their standard landscape plants and supplies on a job-by-job basis. The American Standards for Nursery Stock, sponsored by American Hort and approved by American National Standards Institute, is the recognized standard for nursery stock in the U.S. It is designed to facilitate the commerce of nursery stock by standard grades for deciduous shade and flowering trees, deciduous shrubs, coniferous and broadleaf evergreens, roses, vines, and ground covers, fruit trees, small fruits, lining out stock, seedlings, bulbs, corms, and tubers. The standards apply to harvesting or field-grown plants by all three methods: ball and burlap, ball and potted, and bare root, and to boxed and container-grown plants. In addition, they set standards for the minimum size of root systems for ornamental plants of all types. Where maximum size ranges are stated, an average size is required. That is, when 100 6 to 8 foot trees are ordered, the plants should average about 7 foot, not just make grade at 6 foot. This slide shows examples of standards found in the American Standards for Nursery Stock and where measurements would be taken. A coalition of 12 Florida grower and trade associations along with UF-IFAS developed the Florida Grades and Standards for Nursery Stock. The manual addresses both shoot size and container standards as well as a significant focus on plant quality grades. Both above ground plant structure and shape of the canopy as well as the root structure are addressed. It establishes 4 grades: Florida Fancy, Florida No. 1, Florida No. 2, and Cull. Florida Fancy is a single trunk with a branch diameter smaller than 2/3. It must have no flush cuts or open injuries, a crown full of foliage, and a root ball appropriately sized. Florida No. 1 requires some pruning to develop good structure. It has minor trunk injuries and a double leader in the top half of the tree. For Florida No. 2, the trees are misshapen or require major corrective pruning. The defects may take several years to correct, and a double leader on the bottom half of the tree. For Cull trees, the defects are not correctable, lack vigor, and may have a poor trunk and branch structure, circling roots, open wounds, flush cuts, or a loose root ball. Palms and cycads, as well as wetland plants, are also addressed in detail in the Florida Grades and Standards for Nursery Stock. There appear to be limits on how much milder or warmer the production climate may be in relation to the consumer's climate. Many outdoor nursery crops moving from warmer to cooler climatic zones are rarely shipped to a climatic zone more than 20 degrees Fahrenheit colder, mean annual minimum temperature. A number of reasons for the limitation and movement of nursery stocks to colder climates can be proposed. The distances involved may make freight costs prohibitive. Plants grown more than 2 climatic zones warmer may be in full growth during early spring shipment and be vulnerable to frost damage. Many nursery crops adapted to northern climates have specific cold exposure requirements for breaking dormancy and specific day length requirements for vegetative growth, flowering, and the development of low temperature hardiness. A number of nursery crops, such as flowering dogwood, red maple, and eastern redbud, can be found growing in native stands over a range of 4 climatic zones. However, these stands have developed into ecotypes that are adapted to a specific habitat and are not necessarily capable of surviving over the entire range for the species. In conclusion, wholesale marketing varies depending on the clientele that you are serving. Additionally, there are tree and shrub standards that affect the price of the product.